Hi, Spotted Cheap Pops with Vladi Dottie. It's Silicon Steve Alley. CM Punk, Vladi. We're going to go right into it. And CM Punk back in the news, and we would be remiss if we didn't talk about it. And Vladi Dottie, WWE, according to Mr. Dave Schmeltzer, giving out his star ratings and being all in the know, he says WWE told CM Punk, not yet, or at least no for now. And CM Punk's return in Chicago Survivor Series, which I have been very adamant about, it is 100% happening. I said the only way it would not happen is if WWE didn't think he was worth it. But I think we both thought they would think he was worth it. But apparently not yet, as it is now reported that higher-ups have told WWE talent that CM Punk will not be there. And one of the higher-ups mentioned that, of course, all this is anonymous, of course. And one of the reasons is they didn't want fans having the wrong expectation of Survivor Series in Chicago, which many of us thought CM Punk was going to show up for. But that comes on the heels of three, I believe, really blatant. But now since the other ones are blatant, the other one has to be considered blatant. 4 blatant hints to CM Punk, blatant, and we've gone over, of course, the CM Punk promo, Michael Cole promo with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins saying, I'm the best. I do what I do to be the best in the world. So there's been a lot. The Corey Graves ones I thought were a lot more specific. The greatest trick the devil ever played. The Usual Suspects. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world he didn't exist. So I'm sorry. There's way too many things to go on to where we thought was going to happen. So WWE was in talks with CM Punk minimally. But there were no CM Punk references in SmackDown last night. Corey Graves is on SmackDown now, I believe, isn't he? I didn't see any CM Punk references. However,
got CM Punk here tonight. He may be going to other promotions. Who knows? How great is it? Been a fun night of fights.
Anthony Pettis Fighting Championships is actually in November. You're correct.
That's just wrong. I thought that might have been lined up. How great has it been? We'll throw you under the bus right away. All right, Rob, lots to talk about, all right? We can't joke around tonight. We got too many things to talk about, right? Look.
But if that's the case, where are we at now, Vladi? Because I thought a week ago, 100% CM Punk's in Survivor Series. Now, maybe not so much. Your thoughts on what you think is happening right now?
You know what? I think they're letting the dust settle. If you said, hey, gun to your head, what do you think's going to happen? I think Survivor Series, you're going to hear Cult of Personality playing, and that place is going to erupt. That's what I think is going to happen still. What I think is going on is they, I think, maybe tipped their hat, started realizing how much this was starting to churn. There may or may not be a non-compete involved here. And the truth is, it's better for it to die down a little bit and then spring it on you in such a way where it's, wow, you know what? I got to watch Monday Night Raw and see what the hell happened there. Because if he appears, especially with Seth Rollins, there you go. I mean, that writes itself for a WrestleMania match. Again, Seth Rollins puts himself in a position where he takes this megastar name that appears and helps solidify him as someone who can be interweaved into storylines going further. Seth, with his body of work, you will never be able to take that away from him. And considering some of the words that he has said in some of the interviews, I think he's one who will bypass it, let it go, and just say, hey, we're starting on equal ground here. Not even equal ground, actually. You're nowhere on the same ground as Roman and I. But there's still a chance to entertain and make money, most importantly. So that's my feeling. I feel like they're sort of letting the dust settle, let the vibe die down, so it's not like an underwhelming moment, if you will, versus a great surprise and just nice springboard into one new storyline to go right into WrestleMania.
WrestleMania season right around the corner, but yeah. I almost feel like the Survivor Series is now a bigger deal with the War Games. I'm going to play devil's advocate because I'm not really sure right now, Vladi. Usually I'm like, I know what's happening. I'm not going to come out and tell you that. I don't know. Because I'm watching SmackDown last night. Wow, that crowd is so hot now. The way they react to all the top baby faces. I mean, Jey Uso, maybe he's 5th or 6th in the depth chart in terms of most popular people on the show. He has the whole crowd bumping with him. Then it follows with Cody Rhodes getting this huge pop. It's the show opened with a huge pop with John Cena and a huge pop to LA Knight amidst Roman's return. I mean, this product is not just so reliant. The one thing we've seen about WWE the last 2 months, it doesn't need Roman to be successful anymore. A year ago, you needed that. This product is so red hot right now. So I would argue CM Punk's value and really making money, how much more money are they going to make because of CM Punk? In the grand scheme of things, it is WWE, who's about to make $60 million over in Saudi Arabia in a couple weeks. So that's the only thing I would say that this might have some validity, because there's no reason to rock this boat right now. They are on a collision course, and you saw it last night. This WrestleMania season will be, in my opinion, the most compelling WrestleMania season in the history of WWE, at least in the last 20-something years, from top to bottom. Saw it last night, the preview. Roman and Cody is a thing that we want to see again, and we are going to see it. Jay versus Jimmy, we're going to see that. We're going to see LA Knight finally thrusted into the main event level. John Cena's still around. Then you look at Kevin Owens, now back on SmackDown, so he doesn't have to necessarily be the stick in the mud about Jey Uso.
Right.
So for me, there is no legitimate reason to bring in CM Punk with his actions in AEW, his matches in AEW where he did not look good, and I believe I would say at least half, if not a majority of his matches were not very good. He had botch after botch after botch. He looked old and slow in the ring, as good as he is as a promo. At the end of the day, he also built his legend on destroying WWE verbally, going on podcasts, suing them. Now, granted, he wants to be what's best for business is best for business. Well, my oh my, how that changed from 10 years ago. The fact remains is that's fine, CM Punk. But if you're Triple H, who, by the way, was personally insulted, he walked away from WWE. One of the biggest reasons is he didn't want to work with Triple H at WrestleMania. And he bragged about saying that to Triple H's face. I don't need to fight you and I don't want to fight you, was exactly the quote he said on Colt Cabana's podcast. So what the fuck? At the end of the day, it might be a little, no, you're going to have to wait a little bit. I could certainly see them waiting to see this out, because I don't think at this point in time he would, the roster would want overall, and anybody, and certainly Triple H would ever give him a main event spot at WrestleMania at this particular point in time. So instead of just handing him that big WrestleMania moment, maybe they bring him back the night after WrestleMania to jump Seth Rollins, and then you start from there. And then you have him work his way to that spot. I don't think they're just going to hand him a WrestleMania moment. I don't. He has burned way too many bridges, as much as he's trying to reconstruct them and putting the gamey phallic right in his mouth. Went there to kiss the ring of Triple H. He's building it back. What the point is, what is the real legitimate reason to bring him back right now when you have Cody Rhodes saying this is the most positive and team-oriented locker room he's ever been in? And from a product standpoint, WWE is crushing it right now. And they're going into a position where they're going to be crushing it even more. Sold out houses all over the country. Sold out, ratings, not as good as they could be. But of course, there's a lot of reasons to that. But the ratings aren't bad. The pay-per-view views, social media views are all-time highs. Revenue is at an all-time high. Right. CM Punk isn't that big of a deal in WWE land. He's a big deal in AEW land, not in WWE land. And by the way, all the wrestlers told everybody what happened at AEW. By and large, you want to say half and half? I'm going to say it's about 60% to 70% wrestlers typically think he's a douchebag, at least 50%. And he really hurt a lot of people in AEW. And a lot of people are friends with people in WWE that he hurt. So there's a lot of reasons not to bring CM Punk back if you're WWE, at least not yet. So that's where I would argue that. However, I'm with you. Why would they have teased it for like that? Why? It makes no sense.
Right.
And are they just bringing it back to job to Rollins? Because I don't think he beats Rollins.
I don't know if he beats Rollins at WrestleMania, but I wouldn't be surprised if he won that title.
I don't think he can go at the caliber WWE needs.
Yeah,
their guys can go now. Their top wrestlers can go. I don't think. I mean, then again, CM Punk with a good wrestler, it has done great. That Samoa Joe match was great. So,
yeah, and I think that's what it sort of depends. He needs a good dance partner at this point. He has plenty of them there. If they're able to go and basically space out his matches, make it special enough where you want to go and check out the Peacock network, and then that adds to it because he's able to push a storyline with his mouth in between matches. That's what he brings. And you know what? You still have 3 hours of television on Raw where I could see him sort of setting up some sort of camp there himself. Interestingly enough, you even mentioned, he has certain friends that from WWE that are friends with people at AEW. Kevin Owens is one of the big ones. He got shifted to SmackDown last night. He was the free agent that got traded for Jey Uso of all people. So they actually broke up Sammy and Owens.
Yeah, I think they want Sammy to kind of go on his own vibe now because they're trying to capitalize on his star rising. And Kevin Owens can go over there and be a little bit of a thorn in the side of the tribal chief for now and, you know, what have you. Even though I don't love Kevin Owens, I hope he has a new program. We've seen Kevin Owens with the Bloodline for a couple of years now. I think it's a good start for him to kind of get away and become his own guy, maybe even a heel turn within the next couple months. But we'll see.